So really this is our first step here, is just trying to figure out what it takes to get this light bulb to light up using these pretty rudimentary materials. We've got here this nice battery, we got a piece of wire, and we got the bulb. All right, cool. So really the key to getting this thing to work, it turns out, and some of you noted this in your drawings, you got two ends of the battery that we've got to involve here. We're going to take one end of our wire, we're going to put it to this end of the battery. I will note this is the end that has a little plus sign on it. I'm going to take the other end and I'm going to connect it to the sort of metal casing that goes around this light bulb. Now obviously nothing has happened yet because I haven't involved the bottom end of the battery. And the key thing here is that on this light bulb there's this little bottom piece of metal in addition to the metal that goes around the sides. The wire is touching the sides. Nothing is touching the bottom yet, but if I touch the bottom to the sides, aha, I get it to light up. And just to confirm, there are multiple orientations that work here. If I flip my battery around, as you just saw me do, I'll put my wire there, and still works. Actually, it doesn't matter where you put this on this side, as long as you're touching the metal on this side of the battery, you'll get it to light up. All right, I'm going to draw a little picture of this just to confirm that we know what we just saw. So I'm going to represent my battery like this. It has one end that has a little raised side. I have one end of wire that comes like this. Here is my light bulb, and it has that little bottom section, that little bottom piece of metal, and then it has this metal casing that goes around the side. And I do have to connect my wire to this metal casing like this, and it gets to light. And as I showed you, it doesn't matter what orientation this battery is in. If I flipped my battery around and had it facing, this way instead, it still works the same way as before. Neat. Good stuff. So one thing we, of course, need to explain here is why this works. What's going on here that's causing this thing to light up, but also our understanding of why this works should also simultaneously explain why certain things don't work. So let me give you an example of that. I'll show you a diagram, a picture of something that definitely does not work. But a fair number of people thought that it might. If you have your wire just sort of go off here to your light bulb over on this side, why doesn't this work? Why isn't this good enough? Why doesn't it get the light bulb to light up? Why do you have to connect both ends of the battery? What's going on there? And ultimately what we're going to do here is try to introduce some terminology that's going to explain this. Again, this does not work, and we need to know why. All right, so there's piece one actually. I actually want to show you one more thing before we try to introduce some terms, some ideas to explain what's going on here. I'll erase what we have. And the second thing I'm going to have students do in class before getting into some new ideas, which again you'll have a way to see that, is what happens if you have two batteries. Can I get two batteries to get involved in the task of lighting up this light bulb? And in theory, two batteries being greater than one, you might predict, hey, can we get a brighter light bulb by doing two? Let's find out. So there's obviously different ways we could consider getting these things to connect with one another. I'm going to try to do this just like end to end like this. So they're both basically in the same orientation. The plus end on this touching the plus end, minus end on the other one, like so. So we're basically just making a double long battery. And we're going to see what works here. I will do basically the same thing I did before. I have this end, one end of the wire touching the bottom of this battery. The other is touching the casing of my light bulb. And, ooh, yeah, that does look brighter to me. If we want to do a comparison, let's just jettison that light bulb. And, oh, yeah, there's something different going on here. So not only can we get two batteries, but we definitely get, more brightness coming out of those batteries. I'll show you one thing that does not work. If I flip this battery around, notice now these batteries have labeled ends. There's like a plus side. You can see it on this battery. They don't mark a minus side, but oftentimes some brands of batteries will, but the other side is generally considered the minus side. So, okay, if I have, here's my plus side, here's my plus side, that doesn't work at all. So the orientation of your batteries actually does matter. You have to flip this around in order to get it to work. Again, I'm going to draw that in picture form just to make sure that we all saw what we need to see. So if I needed to draw a picture of these two batteries, the way it works has to have these batteries like this. Again, there's sort of that raised side of the battery to help you distinguish between the two of them. And then here's my light bulb. And it gets bright. So really our first task here is going to be to try to just produce a relatively straightforward explanation of what is going on here. Because it's all fine and good to know how to get the light bulb to light up. I mean, that's nice, it's helpful. But really what's particularly valuable is being able to account for this behavior, explain what's going on, and explain, hey, why does this work? Why do alternative things not work so much? So your next video that you're going to see introduces some of those key ideas, and I'll leave it there for this one.